KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust. Serving Micronesia since 1938, Matson celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus, Guam's leader in sustainability and electric vehicles. Learn more at carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
The health problems persist at the home of the Dolphins. While Southern High isn't making the grade, I'll have what education officials are doing about it, along with how it got this bad.
Picking up our credentials, the Marine Corps Base Camp Loss, Reactivation, and Naming Ceremony set for this week, what this means for the people of Guam.
Avoid, avoid, avoid these markings on one of Guam's busiest roads. But is this a notice for Guam's drivers? We have the story coming up.
Hafidang, good evening. I'm Nick Delgado. Welcome to Primetime. Great to have you starting your week here with us. Well, we begin with more problems, health problems rather, down at Southern High School. Daniel Perez reporting from that campus. He has more on what education officials are doing to correct the issues.
The health problems persist at the home of the Dolphins in Satarita Sumai. Southern High not making the grade, receiving a letter D rating after health officials found mold and other health issues during a recent inspection. Guam Department of Education Acting Superintendent Franklin Cooper Nurse is aware of the low rating the high school received. He assured parents of students, as well as residents, that everything is being done to fix the health issues.
Our team has been down there. The school has been very proactive and diligent in addressing some of the deficiencies in the report. A lot of the deficiencies were worked at two levels, again, at the school level and with our facilities and maintenance team. So the school is tidying up the school. They are ensuring the routine cleaning of the school.
Other health issues found at the school were mold in ceilings and walls, missing and broken ceiling tiles, and dead insects and animals. But how did it come to this point of disrepair and mess?
So we're looking at aging facilities. We're looking at limited funding, specifically set aside for deferred maintenance. And then we do need to enhance some of our contractual support. Right now, we do have our facilities and maintenance team that's doing everything possible within their own capacity, but understanding that they are a very small and limited team. So we're actually in discussion of possible outsourcing of some of these bigger projects.
GDOE's custodial contract averages around $2 million annually. Of that amount, $172,000 goes to Southern High to cover maintenance, cleaning, and supplies for the restrooms. Cooper Nurse adding they're currently in the procurement process to find more custodial services. As for when these issues will be resolved,
we are working with our teams to make sure that we address the immediate short-term maintenance needs. But some of the issues identified in the report are some long-standing issues: the sloping drainage issues, the amphitheater, the pool system. I believe we do have more than the end of the month in terms of timing to address these, but the goal is to address these.
Daniel Perez, KUAM News.
Thanks, Daniel. Well, no plea deal and case dismissed. Defendant Nicholas Wayne Moore let off the hook, at least for now, in his drive-by shooting case. A Superior Court judge granting the defense request for mistrial today. This allows the case to be dismissed without prejudice following multiple delays during trial. Moore was on trial for charges connected to a 2020 shooting in Agana Heights that sent another man to the hospital. Defense attorney Mike Phillips telling KUAM today prosecutors could refile the case, stating, quote, "It's really up to the AG, but hopefully there is a careful review of the testimony and AG agrees this is just not the case they thought it was. It was clear Mr. Moore didn't fire a gun at all," he says. No word yet if Moore could be released from prison just yet. Now, AG Douglas Moylan tells us they are reviewing the case to bring it back before the court. Moore still has 2 other criminal cases against him, charging him with murder and criminal sexual conduct. What took police officers 9 months to arrest a school aide accused of attacking a student? KUAM brought you the father's story, sharing his frustration and concern that the case would go nowhere. Tonight, justice for this family, now that the former school employee is facing charges in local court. 9 months later, and now some relief.
Actually, I was very happy because, it happened right away after he did interview. I think that in just 24 hours, they did the investigation and everything.
Nicholas Ballesteros is sharing how it's been a long battle to get justice for his teenage son. The teen who has autism was allegedly slapped in the face on the GW High School campus by this man, 33-year-old Jonathan Rabalaman. He is charged with child abuse and assault. Rabalaman has since been fired from Guam DOE, but according to Ballesteros, the police complaint he made against the aide seemed to have fallen on deaf ears. That's until he reached out to KUAM, retelling how the aide grabbed his son's backpack, causing his son to turn around and then slap him. The aide allegedly admitting to authorities to slapping the student out of reflex.
I heard he did his first hearing and everything, so I'm just happy for my boy. I just want to take KUAM and mostly you, Mr. Nick Delgado. Probably if you didn't, call me and those things, probably until now, nothing's happening.
We reached out to Guam Police spokesperson Officer Berlin Sevilla today to find out what took investigators this long. She has yet to respond or provide comment. Meantime, Rabalaman has since been released on a $2,000 bond. He was ordered by the court to have no contact and stay away from Ballesteros and Ballesteros' son. The Marine relocation to Guam moving full steam ahead. After more than a decade of planning and construction, Marine Corps Base Camp Laws will be reactivated this week. Our Mitsuki Hirayama has more on what to expect on this historic moment for the U.S. military.
Nick, we are getting our credentials here at the Dusatani in Tumon to take part in this historic time for the Marine Corps. This multi-billion-dollar project with a B that's been in the works for nearly 2 decades to relocate thousands of Marines and their families from Okinawa to Guam. Now, the last time the military branch stood up a base of this magnitude was just after World War II. And this week, we will give you a look from the ground. To be an emotional moment for the family of Brigadier General Vicente Blas. He's the first Chamorro Marine to make it to the rank of General Officer, a local name fit for a military base set right here in our backyard. We will get a tour of the base to include the training facilities such as the shooting house and grenade range. One thing the military is promising, to preserve the rich cultural heritage of Guam and the history of the people. That includes putting up a monument on the base where several ancient burial sites were unearthed during construction over the past couple of years. The public is invited to Thursday's reactivation and naming ceremony at the War in the Pacific National Historical Park at the Asan Beach Park. That starts at 10 in the morning again this Thursday. Historically, Marines have called Guam home since the Spanish-American War in the late 1800s. The military calling this formal establishment of Camp Laws a significant milestone for the realignment of forces, all while honoring the international agreement with the government of Japan. For now, I'm Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Thanks, Mitsuki. Well, another voice has been added to the chorus of local officials calling for a Guam-only visa waiver for Philippine tourists. Senator Will Parkinson has introduced a resolution to petition U.S. Homeland Security. He met with top defense officials on Guam. He says even they had no concerns. Nestor Lecanto reports.
We were just doing the threat assessment on this around the Pacific, and they were just, I don't know how else to say it, but they just flat out and said we don't have any real problems with the Philippines.
Parkinson has also heard from GVB, which is also pushing the proposal.
And so for me, that was the sign that this is the time to, really explore it. Because not only did we hear it from the defense people, we heard it from the economic people at GVB. So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer that this is kind of the time to really re-explore and re-litigate that idea.
But historically, the main concern with tourist visa applicants from the Philippines has been visa overstays.
I think with Guam being an island here, we don't have the same concerns of overstays as they would have in the mainland, where somebody could fly into one state and then drive to a completely other state, and we will have no clue where they're going. If someone shows up to Guam, unless they leave from one of the major ports of entry or exit, we know exactly where they're on. They're on the island.
Parkinson points out that the Philippine middle class has grown substantially in recent years, and tourist arrivals could potentially soar with a Guam-only visa waiver.
Even with the smaller scale, they're still the 5th largest source of tourists for Guam. And so rather than, resisting that, I think we should turn into the skid a little bit and embrace the Philippines as a significant source of tourists for the island.
His resolution asked the governor to formally petition the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to authorize the waiver. Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
Thanks, Ness. Well, the word avoid is seen in white lettering all along Marine Corps Drive. But is this for drivers to follow? Destiny Cruz with the story.
Headed down Route 1 of Marine Corps Drive lately? Well, if you've taken one of Guam's busiest roads this week, drivers may have noticed markings in white reading avoid near manhole coverings. But before you swerve out of your lane to follow the signal at the last minute, know that they aren't directed for you to follow. In fact, the markings are part of the prep work for the upcoming Ukuru power plant project, which involves the transport of government property along a 12-mile path from the Port Authority of Guam to the site in Ukuru. Tyler Mantanani, spokesperson for Power on the Move, further drives home this point about the markings.
This isn't something for the public to worry about. It's specifically for our self-propelled modular trailer or SPMT operators. It's safe for the public to go over. It's just for instructional purposes for when they start operating the SPMTs.
Still no word for when the transport for the project will get going. This means that the markings will remain along Marine Corps Drive for some time. However, Mantanani assures the public that notices will be sent out so that drivers could avoid run-ins with slow-moving transport.
The public is free to traverse the roads as they please. However, when the SPMTs are traveling, we want to encourage everyone to follow our Power on the Move website. We'll have a live tracking going on, so you'll know where the SPMTs will be at. We'll have the schedule and as well as alternate routes. And should anything occur, we'll be sure to give notifications to the public.
She adds that they are being cautious to avoid damaging the roads and bridges along the 12-mile stretch, with plans to lay steel plates for the self-propelled trailers to travel over. So if you are headed down this way and spot the words avoid, you're good. No need to steer clear. Destiny Cruz, KUAM News.
Thanks, Destiny. Well, we'll have more news coming up. Keep it here. You're watching KUAM.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
New year, new you, new adventures. How about a new Jeep to go along with it? It is the Start Something New sales event happening now at Cars Plus. Experience a new level of freedom and adventure in the new Jeep Gladiator. Or how about the all-new legendary Jeep Grand Cherokee L? The most awarded SUV ever now features a fresh interior design and 3 rows of seating. Call us at 671-477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to get pre-approval online today.
We knew it was time to make these when we started asking things like, wouldn't it be nice to be able to get a warm cinnamon roll right now? And why can't this kind of muffin come from the same place as a McMuffin? And isn't your coffee lonely without company from a glazed apple fritter? Well, consider these our 3 resounding yeses. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
What you need to know from the Northern Marianas. Follow KUAM CNMI on Instagram for the latest regional headlines.
Welcome back to Primetime. A new website has been launched for the governor's proposed multi-billion-dollar medical campus, considered to be the Leon Guerrero administration's signature project. In a statement, the governor said, quote, moving our regional healthcare into the next era is not an overnight process. We are at the point where it is time for concepts to become concrete, and we would like the community to be fully informed along this journey. Adelup also releasing a medical campus action plan today, which includes the campus master plan and finance strategy. The proposed site at Eagles Field in Manilao is owned by the military, and the governor has been working on a long-term lease for that land. But the move was and has been heavily criticized by original landowners and several senators who support return of the property to the original landowner. The website can be found at guammedicalcampus.com. Grotto Mayor Aubrey Hokog made history after becoming ceremonially sworn into office over the weekend as the first woman and youngest person to hold the position in CNMI history. Regional correspondent Tomas Manglotnio was there to capture this moment.
That accomplishment celebrated over the weekend as Hokog is sworn into office as the first woman elected and youngest person to hold the position at the age of 35. Hokog won the 5-way mayoral race in November by 35 votes, launching her into the history books as the former staffer now heads the office. In her speech, Hokog highlighting the need to get creative as government jobs are slashed and tourism struggles to bear fruit.
Our people have had to subsidize their living by returning to the basics of hunting, farming, and fishing for survival.
Her first act in office already disrupting agendas as she appointed her cabinet based on an open application process. Now she faces the challenge of the Commonwealth's fiscal crisis, vowing to work with the legislative delegation to get Rhoda's piece of the pie. Guam's Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio offering support as she makes that happen.
We have a common bond. We're one people. We have environmental issues that affect both of us. We have issues with regards to global warming and climate change. And of course, we're all going to be impacted by the expanded military buildup.
Those regional issues top of mind as local government scrambles for resources. Tomas Manglonia for KUAM News, Rhoda.
CNMI Governor Arnold Palacios has asked for the courtesy resignations of all politically appointed members of boards and commissions. The governor expected to make a number of new appointments this week, including to his cabinet. In a recent memo, Palacios asked board and commission members appointed by Governor Ralph Torres to leave their post. He wrote, quote, "We are dedicated to making fresh changes that will help to rebuild trust and confidence." Palacios adding that he welcomes their collaboration with their new appointees and thanked them for their service. In a previous interview, Palacios told KUAM that reviewing the Commonwealth's finances took priority over the appointments during his first days in office. The CNMI Department of Public Safety seeking the community's help in finding Ye Fang, also known as Batu, who local authorities have been looking for since November. He's facing charges of theft, trafficking, and illegal possession of a controlled substance. Police warned the public that they should not approach him because he's considered to be armed and dangerous. His bail was set at $100,000 in November. DPS encourages anyone with information to contact the DPS Criminal Investigations Unit at 670-664-9064 or the CNMI Crime Stoppers Hotline 670-234-7272. Our car crashed into a utility pole on a road near the island's Cave Museum heading towards Songsong Village around 10 p.m. Saturday. A police officer on scene told KUAM the driver was drunk but was not able to provide any further information. KUAM learned the driver was the only person in the car, his condition not yet known. Power for residents in Songsong Village area was out for hours due to the accident. Traffic was stalled as the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation and Department of Public Works cleared the road for drivers heading into Sinapolo. KUAM has reached out to Department of Public Safety on Saipan for more information. A famous Saipan tourist site is cutting its hours due to the CNMI government's deficit. Acting Department of Land and Natural Resources Secretary Manuel Pangilinan announcing that the Grotto will be open from 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon only due to budgetary constraints starting today. The move is expected to be the first of many cost-cutting measures as Governor Arnold Palacios says everything is on the table to reduce the island's multi-million-dollar deficit, which he is expected to provide more specific details on in a few weeks. He invites members of the public to call 670-483-6261 with any questions or concerns. Now for a look at your world at home. Here's a beautiful view around sunset of the southern part of Guam, Cocos Island off in the distance there on the horizon. The Guam National Weather Service forecasting Tuesday, partly sunny skies and a 20% chance of rain.
When we face an uncertain path, when we struggle with life's challenges, and when the unexpected happens, it's a beautiful day. We rely on the people we trust, it's a beautiful, who we can always count on, and the ones who give us the most care throughout the years. Such a beautiful day. on Calvo's Select Care to give you the comfort and security you need. It's a beautiful day. Wherever you are. Calvo's Select Care. Healthcare that's always there for you.
Use your head high. If your core's not tight, then it's not transferring to the hips. The hips can move quick, but if your core's not moving with it, then you're losing power in between. Okay, connect from the hip in.
Z Strength and Nutrition, or ZSN, is much more than just another local fitness plan. It's a framework designed to fine-tune the physical, mental, and dietary self-discipline to help middle and high school students become the best versions of themselves.
Especially with the kids, we want to develop a model that not only just gives them, the immediate effects for the next game or the next season, but we're really focusing on the long-term athletic development. So we want to set the foundations, give them confidence in the barbell, things that they can take on into their adulthood that are skills that give them a healthier lifestyle.
The company's acronym is also the initials of Zach Nicholas, the young Guamanian whose brave fight against an extremely rare form of cancer inspired his island home and touched thousands. Zach passed away in 2020, but his spirit lives on through his siblings who keep his legacy alive.
I literally took some phrases and sentences that he would put out on his Instagram and incorporated that into our rebrand because we really wanted his voice to shine, and so we just want to honor him in any little way that we can.
You did it. That's what I put it a lot. So from here, it's all about control. Okay? All about control. You got to get that form in. Still doing the same. Nice. Good job.
Coach Nate Nicholas created the program in his brother's honor.
This was kind of like our dream, was to create a program, create something where we can get more kids involved, get more people involved, and have like just a training aspect, nutrition aspect, and even a sports psychology aspect where we really, delve into all aspects of the training. And he pretty much inspired me to continue that dream that we had together.
Coach AJ Tovez is a major part of driving home Team Z's goals, noting how this isn't simply a workout tutorial, it's a lifestyle.
We want just kids with a lot of grit, passion and perseverance. Working out isn't easy. You have to have a goal in mind, and you have to figure out what's your why. Why are we doing this? Why do I want to be better? Why am I working so hard? What is my end goal?
Devin Nicholas, the youngest of the siblings, oversees marketing and social media for the company. She says it's all about staying true to their core beliefs.
And we really took a lot of time going through the meaning behind each of the colors we used for the new logo. And we really wanted it to represent who we are as a business. We wanted to be bold and energetic and yet warm and inviting, but still very positive.
Coach AJ also explains how making smart choices about your intake gets you serious output.
Just listen, trust the process, and we'll take you farther than you've ever been before.
Good, nice.
And both Coach Nate and Devin alike say they always feel Zach's constant spirit with them as they develop strategy, make business plans, or help mentor young Guamanian athletes.
We really try to make sure that Zach is at the forefront of everything that we do. We keep him in our thoughts and all of our strategies for everything that we approach.
Everything we do, it's even though he's not here physically, he always exists in our heart, and then we choose to see what we want to see, right? So if I carry on every day, waking up and doing some Team Z stuff, I'm doing it because of him. The reason why that I and my sister want to do this program and do this kind of business is to have his initials and his name withstand the test of time.
It's all for him, it's all to get better, and it's all to really just be our best self, to live life in color.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about commitment. For students, the willingness to carry out the program, and for the coaches on Team Z, to have Zach right alongside them in every step of the journey.
What's the move? Kinda wild out. Casual.
Hey, you want to order some Taco Bell?
Two grilled chicken burritos, two bold flavors. Order on the app, only at Taco Bell.
One year later, the Micronesia Mall Payless has reopened its doors. During a grand reopening Saturday, the island community was able to take in the improved renovations in the over 40,000 square foot store. Along with a greater selection of products, there are also new additions to the store, such as the Guam Brewery, Infusion Coffee Shop, Proof Bread Shop, Local Bowls Co., and Crumbs Artisan Bakery. Kathy Calvo is the president and chief executive officer of Payless Supermarkets.
As a locally owned company, like Mike Benito said, everything screams out that we respect our culture, our island with our sustainability projects, taking care of our community with living a healthy life, and perpetuating our culture. So we thank you on behalf to all our partners, our vendors, our customers, and all our employees. And most importantly, I'd like to thank our Father in heaven, God, for making this all possible.
Calvo hopes to provide customers with a shopping experience that enhances their senses, provides value and satisfaction, and becomes home for all your grocery shopping needs. On Saturday, the ribbon was cut for the SGI Guam Aikita Peace and Cultural Center. Located in Tamuning next to the ITC building, the center, which includes a museum on its second floor, was made possible by Soka Gakkai International, whose mission for nearly half a century has been to promote peace. The ceremony was not only a dedication of the SGI temple, but also served as a celebration of the 48th anniversary of the organization. It was on Friday that a proclamation signing was held at Adaloop, recognizing their efforts in honoring the promise of peace, nuclear disarmament, and environmental protection made between 51 representatives from different countries and territories 48 years ago. Finally, tonight, your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shout-out submitted on KUAM.com.
Happy birthday on this January 23rd to Antoinette Nadeau. Happy birthday to you from your family, friends, fellow teachers, and Belle and Gurley. Chloe May, Parish Cruz, happy birthday number 2. Chloe May, you get love always from your family. And belated birthday wishes going out to Caleb J., who turns 6 on the 21st. We love you, says Rye. Jayliana Joy Dwayne is happy birthday to you, and we hope you have an amazing day today. We love you unconditionally, says the Fam Bam. And newest 15-year-old Sydney Lee Tabayoyong, who was born on January 22nd. Happy birthday to you, Grandma and Grandpa. Love you so much. Mommy and Quinn Harper are wishing you all the best.
And that's your Primetime Show. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Nick Delgado. Stay safe and good night.
KUAM News Hotspot is brought to you by
Pacific Points, Do More, Get More, and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Afternoon and welcome to the Hotspot, everybody. It is a new week. We have a new array of topics, and I'd like to start this morning's show with a question I had for a new friend I met at Macy's yesterday, one of the cashiers. Can you actually use a gift card to buy a gift card? That's how we're starting the show, so let's go.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the Fresh Garden Bar.
On your show today, we'll tell you about a one-to-one aide having been arrested 9 months after allegedly slapping a student down at a campus. We also check in with Tomas Manglonia about an inauguration up in the CNMI, and we will get you up to speed with your weather forecast. Well, we brought you the story of a father waiting for months for police to take action after his son with autism was allegedly assaulted by a school aide. A magistrate's report showed that Jonathan Rambaliman, 33 years old, was arrested in the incident in child abuse and assault, both as misdemeanors. It took place at GW last year, as court documents state that a witness alleged the one-to-one school aide used the palm of his right hand and smacked the student's left cheek, and then it was, quote, really loud. Another witness did corroborate the account. Now, Rab Balaman, court documents state, told police he slapped the victim out of reflex. He said he was the child's one-to-one school aide. On Tuesday, the child's father told KUAM he continued to follow up with the incident, but he was never able to get a response. In other crime news, Christopher Chiguina, 21 years old, was arrested and charged with family violence after allegedly hitting a man over the head with a pipe. Police were called to Swamp Road on January 18th for a physical disturbance complaint. A witness told police they saw Chiguina pick up a metal pipe and strike the victim over the head, causing him to fall to the ground. Now, the victim, court documents do state, was bleeding from the nose and mouth and lying on the ground, but did refuse treatment. Authorities in California are searching desperately for a suspect in a mass shooting that left 10 people dead. Here's the very latest from LA.
The city of Monterey Park is struggling to comprehend the deadly violence that descended upon this tight-knit Southern California community as tens of thousands gathered to celebrate the Lunar New Year.
When the fire department did get into the business, they did pronounce 10 of the victims deceased at the scene.
The LA County Sheriff says the gunman who killed those 10 people at the Star Dance Studio may have tried and failed to unleash more deadly violence at a second dance hall in nearby Alhambra shortly after the deadly shooting. Investigators are working to determine whether the events are connected, but the killer, who left 5 women and 5 men dead, was still on the loose well into Sunday.
There is a male suspect that fled the scene and remains outstanding as of this moment. Our very preliminary description has been described as a male Asian.
There are a lot of unanswered questions for investigators. They remain at the scene of the shooting. We've seen FBI, LA County Sheriff, and local Monterey Park police. This community of about 60,000 east of Los Angeles is comprised mostly of people of Asian descent.
To hear about this was just absolutely shattering, especially in our peaceful community, which I believe is so resilient and which appreciates its diversity.
Now, instead of celebrating the Year of the Rabbit, residents here are in deep grief and mourning. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Monterey Park, California.
Let's go now live to Tomas Manglona, who is joining us in the KUAM News Zoom room about an inauguration that happened up in the CNMI over the weekend. Hi, Tomas.
Hi, Jason. Good morning. It's great to start the week off with you. Jason, you know the saying, Rhoda is beautiful, Rhoda is romantic, and Rhoda is delicious. Well, over the weekend, Rhoda is also historic. Mayor Aubrey Holcock becoming the first female elected as mayor for Rhoda and also in the entire Commonwealth. Also becoming the youngest person at the age of 35 to assume that office. She was sworn in by Chief Justice Alexandra Castro, who is also from Rhoda, and also 19th municipal council members were sworn in over the weekend. We got a chance to go to Rhoda to witness the event and wanted to bring you this moment from her inaugural speech where she brought together the Rhoda delegation of leaders. Take a listen.
Recognizing our newly elected leaders of LUTA, may I kindly ask for them to join us. We'll begin to my right. We have our Senator Donald Maloney. He's right. Our Senator Dennis Mangala. Our Congresswoman Julie Grotto. Our Municipal Council members. We have us Chairman Jim Antley, Vice Chairman Freddie Maloney, our Secretary John Villasana, in collaboration with our sitting senator, Paul Maloney, and our leadership, our Attorney Governor, David Apatow. We will be the leaders for this municipality to serve the people of Guam. It is my hope that this is a new start of a great partnership with our delegation to generate ideas and plans to build a better Rhoda that will preserve our cultural identity as well as modernize our communities to adapt to the ever-changing technological world that we live
And that show of unity amid a passionate speech with a tone of unity, as Mayor Holkog also inherits a deficit for the government. She says they are waiting to hear from Governor Arnold Palacios on the exact figures as they work to address their over 100 staff. She talked about their getting up to date with technology on the island and also addressing issues with tourism. We should note that the Lieutenant Governor of Guam, Joshua Tenorio, was in attendance representing the island of Guam, and he said that they're willing to have those conversations about tourism given Rota's proximity to Guam and also on a range of different regional issues. We got a chance to sit down with Mayor Holkog, former Mayor Ephraim Atalig, and the 19th Municipal Council. You can view all of those interviews on the Rota Political Leaders playlist on KUAM's YouTube channel. For now, I'm Tomas Manglonia reporting on Saipan for KUAM.
All right, thanks so much, Tomas, reporting from the CNMI. All right, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to tell you what is going on with the weather. What does Mother Nature have in store for us? Landon Aidlet with the National Weather Service is standing by with your workweek weather forecast.
How deep do Pizza Hut's roots run in the islands? Through all the decades, we know what you love. Great taste at an even better price. Like our large 3-topping carry-out pizza for just $13.99. You choose your favorite toppings, meat, vegetables, or any combination that totals 3. Our $13.99 large 3-topping pizza. Order online and carry one out today. Only at Pizza Hut, the island's best.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
Your work week weather forecast is when we bring in experts in the field of meteorology to tell us exactly what is happening, what may rise from the ground in terms of heat, what may be coming down upon us in terms of rain, possibly even snow. I don't think that's a really good probability, but Landon Aidlet is the lead forecaster with the National Weather Service, and he is joining me right now in the KUAM News Zoom room. And I noticed that he's got a rather fetching goatee that he has grown out. I'm assuming it's because we had such good island weather this past weekend. Landon, good look on you, man.
Yes, it was a very busy weekend. Oh my gosh. And how much roof did I paint over the weekend? Actually, none. It was beautifully dry and sunny for most of the weekend, but I got none of it down. I was down on the surface, bush cutting the yard and dealing with yard work and starting up a garden. Hopefully I'll have fruits and vegetables. Yeah, and also change some light fixtures on the house. So I have some good friends that helped me yesterday afternoon, evening, and we were changing a lot of fixtures. So the house lights up so much better now than what it used to be. But
well, you know,
overall,
good on you for getting your garden in order, because the soil is very, very fertile over there in Estumbo. So like, can't wait to see how it turns out.
Right now, I got a lot of limestone growing in the side yard, so I gotta change that to something more edible. But okay. It was a beautiful weekend. Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
I was gonna say let's recap, because I mean it was perfect island weather, no real rain to speak of, and yet it was sunny, but it was kind of cool too. It didn't feel like overbearingly hot.
Yeah, and some of the temperatures, definitely yesterday, you might break a little bit of a sweat, but yesterday's high temperature was only 85 degrees. So with that breeze and the cooler temperatures, that felt really pleasant outside. It was a great day to open up the windows to your house, let the wind blow through your house, air things out. It was great, especially in the shade. Yesterday's low temperature was 76 degrees. Now, where does that place into the climate averages as well? Normally, we're up to 86, so we're just shy of normal, with a normal low of 75. So we're right on par with average over the last 30 years. But the record high was 89 set back in 1964, 72 in 2008, and the average or the record low was 71 last set in 2003. So this is the time of the year that we see those daily record low temperatures from time to time, and that's with those shear lines dropping down across the region. Then things will settle down, the winds clear out. It's very calm and cloud-free skies, and those temperatures just plummet several degrees, where we can see those nighttime lows bottom out around like 69, 68 degrees in the extreme conditions. And at that point, you might have some chills, but it feels so great otherwise compared to the 89s and 90s. So 'tis the season. You also notice a couple of changes since last week. The rainfall has been very lacking. We've got maybe 1/10 of an inch of rain over the last week. I think we reached a monthly total rainfall of 13.66 inches earlier last week. We've only creeped up to about 13.73 inches as of last night. And that's not going to change much in the coming days, as the January dry season period is upon us. And this is what we're looking at on the visible satellite picture. We got some clouds passing by, but there's really not much moisture coming from these clouds. They're just zipping by, and at most you might see a sprinkle or a brief light shower, more so overnight. Down south, that's where you're most likely to see the showers really producing wetting rains, but that's well to our south. Otherwise, upstream of us to the east, not much, just a typical stratocumulus trade wind clouds and pattern well east of us. And that's going to continue through this week, through this weekend, and very likely into much of next week, with current conditions not changing much. The abundant tropical moisture is well to our south near Palau. So if you have friends and family in Palau and they're talking about excessive rainfall, they've had over a half foot of rainfall over the last 24 hours. And that's with this deeper tropical moisture down there. Is there a storm developing? Absolutely not. So if you have friends and family down in Palau and they're talking about possible storms, tropical storm or typhoon, that is not the case. It's just more of a tropical moisture, converging winds down here with westerlies coming into the south, and the trade winds zipping along from the east. And so you get this area of converging winds, you get showers and thunderstorms, and that's what they're dealing with over there. We could see a weak circulation of sorts developing to the west of Palau and then going on into the Philippines as part of a shear line that's going to be dropping down. Any impacts for us? Absolutely not from that system, but upstream of us, all trade winds. And so the moderate to breezy trade winds that we're seeing right now, that's going to continue through this week into next weekend, with probably not even a half inch of rain over the next 10 days. But of course, stay tuned, because things can and do change here in the tropics in the order of several days. But right now at the airport, we're clocking in sustained winds of 21 miles per hour, gusting up to 30 miles per hour. So that does prompt some sea and surf conditions. We do have a small craft advisory in effect through 6 p.m. tomorrow evening, Tuesday. That may be extended based on wind and wave conditions, for winds of 15 to 25 knots, gusting to 30, and combined seas of 7 to 10 feet. That may continue and be extended through several more days this week, with little change in overall conditions. High risk of rip currents through tonight. That also may be continued for east-facing reefs. That's Jeff's Pirates Cove, Paget Bay, Marble Cave, all of those areas along eastern Guam and the CNMI. And that will continue at least through late tonight. So do not be jumping off any cliffs or on the reef shelf over there.
I got a question for you, Len, real quick, about the terminology that you and your coworkers tend to use, because we've been hearing it so long. We've probably gotten used to it at this point. But when you say there's a high risk of rip currents or unfavorable weather, is that more a probability or a possibility that we could actually have like very, very dangerous and possibly life-threatening water conditions?
Yeah, definitely a possibility. And so that's really when we're starting to see surf breakers upwards of 9 feet or greater along east-facing reefs. That means that those rip currents are there, and that it's likely to be very strong and can pull you off the reefs. So if you're anywhere in the waters along eastern Guam, watch out, because those waves can come up on the reef shelf into inlets and bays and pull you right back out before you know what's happening.
Right. Okay. So with the winds expected to be really kicking up and everything, you want to stay out of the water, as Landon just said. He says this all the time, ladies and gentlemen, but he's doing it for your safety and for mine. So maybe stay out of the water with the winds kicking up. But this would be a great time to go buy a kite and fly that kite.
It's definitely a good time to swim in Tumon Bay. So anywhere there's a lifeguard, you have the sheltered bay area. And again, those waves are coming in from the east. So anywhere on north and west facing reefs and bays and beaches, that's where you're most likely to be safe. Anywhere in Tumon, again, with the lifeguards, because all the waves, they're coming, the large trade wind swells coming from the east, barreling right into eastern Guam. But Timon Bay, of course, you see is very snuggled right in there. So that's the best place to be. East Agana Bay, Tumon Bay, anywhere there's lifeguards presence, that's where you want to be at any time you're swimming in the waters.
You know, I'm supposed to be an objective journalist, but I'm going to go ahead and just say I absolutely am biased towards Tumon Bay. I lived there for a very long time. It's the best place on Guam. That's my home. So Tumon Bay all the way.
Yeah, I agree. Beautiful over there.
Okay, so I want to shift gears a little bit, right? Because, you know, your models, I have a challenge for you, actually. And when you show us those wonderful graphics and the animations, your forecasts tend to look maybe 7 days into the future, 10 days even into the future. I want to ask you if you're able to project about 22 to 23 days into the future, because I'm wondering if you're able to tell us what the weather will be on Valentine's Day. Because, you know, me and maybe Joe Sir and, you know, Mike and, you know, a couple of my coworkers, we may have plans that night.
Well,
climate-wise, an umbrella.
Climate-wise, we are looking mighty fine for Valentine's Day. But as far as our computer models, they realistically go about 16, 17 days in the future. And then really in the tropics beyond 5 days, you just don't pay much attention to the models except for larger trends and themes. So based on climate averages, Valentine's would be a great night for gushing emotions. So hopefully it's good emotions.
you can serenade someone. You can have
winds of joy.
But you know what? If it does happen to rain and rain very, very heavily as it did for the first half of this month, you can do the whole like gondola thing. You know, just
I would prefer a rainy Valentine's. I think that would be more suiting. Just torrents of rain and weather. Of course, that's my preference.
You know, we can make gondolas happen on Guam. I mean, you know, we'll probably have to use like the stand-up paddle, but
maybe in Nan Madal.
Oh, nice.
Nan Madal in Pompeii. That would be a
very,
great
very
venue.
Cool. Okay, but you know, what is the science behind the fact that you can project either 7 days or maybe like a week and a half? Why have forecasters always traditionally used those 2 days?
Yeah, it's really based on the model handling, and of course with tropical cyclones, there's always that we always show the error cone, and that's just a matter of how much tropical cyclone forecasts have varied over the years, and so that error cone has gotten tighter and tighter as models get better. But it's just a matter of how different forecast models handle different parameters, and so we weigh in a variety of different forecast models. Some handle developing tropical cyclones better. Some handle wind speeds and intensification trends better. Others handle rainfall and precipitation better. So we weigh in all these different models, but a lot of these models do better in the mid-latitudes with the stateside weather. They handle things almost textbook accurate with 5 and 7 day ranges. But here in the tropics, things vary. And so that's why we always maintain that things can and do change rapidly in a short period of time. That's where our condition of readiness is always set at core 4, meaning that damaging winds are possible within 72 hours. Whether it's likely or not, that's a different story, but it's possible. Things can and do change. And sometimes in the wet season, as a forecaster, I'm looking at my forecast and I don't have a clue what's going to happen 12 hours from now because things vary so much. We've seen incoming weather patterns coming right at us and they fall on our doorstep and dissipate. So we are always monitoring, we're always watching, we're a 24/7 operation because of those changes, those variations.
Absolutely understood. Okay, before I let you go, because we're running out of time, but I wanted to maybe get a book recommendation from you, if I may, good sir. Right? For those of us who don't really understand, you know, the science, but we watch this show all the time. You know, we follow you on all of the social media platforms, and you keep us well advised of what's going on. Do you have an introductory book for those of us who would like to get into, you know, the art of weather watching? And he has one, of course.
Yes, this is my freshman college
I thought
book,
you were breaking up Dianetics for a moment. I thought that was Scientology. No, that's meteorology.
Yeah, no Scientology, just meteorology. But this was my favorite textbook in college, really because, I don't want to say it, but it has photos and color pictures in there.
Right on. Well, we had the same undergraduate experience and everything. I became a very big fan of fermented barley and hops, let's just say, when I was an undergrad.
This is a very thorough book, and I'm not sure what edition it would be on at this point, but it's Meteorology Today, and it's introductory to all parameters of weather, atmospheric science, climatology, weather, flooding, rainfall, mid-latitude cyclones, tropical weather. It's very thorough, very in-depth, and it gives you a great background to weather and climate. And I'm trying to figure out what else I have back here on my shelf, but I have so many books up here, including things that I inherited from Chip Gard when he retired. So a lot of great books, but anything for our region, meteorology today, but anything tropical weather related. There's a great book on the shelves on Micronesia tropical cyclones. And it gives a good perspective to climatology.
And this is why you are the very, very best in the business, because you give us, not only weather forecasts, but, the science behind it and really, really good literary recommendations and everything. So yeah, I'm sure that book's available on Amazon. So I'm going to go pick up a copy, and you can test me maybe in 2 weeks after I make my way through with it. Me and Joseph.
Sounds good to me.
All right, that's Landon Islet with the National Weather Service. Make sure, everybody, to pick up that book, Meteorology Today. And if you don't want to fork out the money, then make sure to follow the NWS on all of their social media platforms.
Yes.
It's the next best thing. So, Landon, have a good day, man.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, please stay tuned. We are going to get you up to speed on the entertainment beat when the hotspot continues.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
New year, new you, new adventures. How about a new Jeep to go along with it? It is the Start Something New sales event happening now at Cars Plus. Experience a new level of freedom and adventure in the new Jeep Gladiator. Or how about the all-new legendary Jeep Grand Cherokee L? The most awarded SUV ever now features a fresh interior design and 3 rows of seating. Call us at 671-477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to get pre-approved online today.
I can't make that amount work right now. Mom, what is it? Can I get new basketball shoes? We'll see.
Can I please have $20 for my field trip?
I don't know. Can I go to my friend's house after school?
Anak, hindi pwede.
We're all trying our best to make ends meet. The governor's childcare programs are helping businesses and working families care for Guam's kids. This ad is paid for with funds administered by the Department of Public Health and Social Services. Visit guamchildcare.com to apply today.
Subscribe to our KUAM News Digest, our weekly email newsletter with all kinds of information straight to your inbox. Just subscribe and we'll make sure to keep you informed and entertained with news from the KUAM News team, what to watch on NBC and CBS, and the latest promotions from KUAM Communications. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab at the top of the homepage, register, and you're all set. Brought to you by Uno Go, Guam On Demand.
I caught you sleeping. No, that was last week. We don't make those kind of mistakes anymore. That's so early January. All right, we are going to get you up to speed on what's going on all around the island with News Bites, and here is what's making news today. Our friends over at NAVFAC Marianas and the members of the public are invited to the first Cultural Resources Open House on the 19th. The event was hosted by UOG's Cultural Repository Facility. Community members were given the opportunity to ask questions about the resource management processes used at Camp Blas. Speaking of UOG, their Cooperative Extension and Outreach Program will receive more than $597,000 from the U.S. Department of Agriculture's National Institute of Food and Agriculture to work towards increasing food and nutrition security and healthy diets among kids. The grant is being provided under the Food System Resiliency for Children's Healthy Living Program. That's a very long title. The first phase of the program resulted in a decrease in child obesity in the Pacific. A organization of which we are huge fans, Guahan Paws for Pets, is holding an adoption and awareness event on February the 11th from 1 to 5 in the afternoon at the Plaza de España. We're collaborating with Heart Rescue Guam, GAIN, and Agriculture to come together and bring awareness to educate the public on animal welfare, care, and rescue, something we all need to practice in our daily lives. And SPPC and the Marianas Open are proud to announce a donation of $1,500 to the American Legion Guam Vets Organizations. It's the nation's largest veterans organization, representing over 3 million men and women who have nobly served in our country's armed forces. Well, we are serving you right now, getting you up to speed with information, and we are going to wrap up the show with a big bow. Mike's going to come in, he's going to put like his finger right there, and we're going to tie it off, and Santa Rita Pete's going to put some Denancy on it or something like that. All right, but here is your Eye on Entertainment.
Ahead of Tuesday's highly anticipated Oscar nominations, the British Academy Film Awards announced its 2023 nominees. All Quiet on the Western Front leads with 14 BAFTA nominations. In the Best Film category, this new adaptation of the World War I epic faces The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Tar. Sally Field is set to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 29th Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards in Los Angeles next month. Field, who is 76, won Oscars for her performances in Norma Ray and Places in the Heart. The actress, who began her career on TV as Gidget in 1965, also has 3 Emmys and is a National Medal of Arts and Kennedy Center honoree. And New York City is the backdrop for the latest installment of Scream. The Scream 6 trailer shows Ghostface on the prowl again, with franchise stars Hayden Panettiere and Courtney Cox fighting for their lives alongside new cast members. The Paramount Pictures thriller is set to hit the big screen on March 10th. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Okay, basically the only thing you had to know about that Scream teaser is that they use a lot of strobe effects, if you didn't get it already. Oh, and by the way, Sally Field was a fan, am a fan, will be a fan. She is a goddess. She was absolutely brilliant in Steel Magnolias way back in 1993. Sally Field, I've been following her since she did Gidget, as you saw in that report right there. Huge, huge fan. She's absolutely amazing. All right, you know what's amazing? The end of the show. And that's coming up right after this.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Fast, fun, and easy. That's how your home Wi-Fi should be. So start with an internet plan that fits your budget. Introducing your home Wi-Fi starter pack, also known as WISP. Enjoy up to 25 megabits per second for as low as $35 a month. Plus, a free router with your wireless subscription. That's hours of movies, games,